Huddle up, team.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to create good financial habits. And I want to encourage you with this right now. You can change your life and you can change your financial life. You can become financially independent. And the great thing is, by incorporating these financial habits, the whole process of creating habits that we're going to talk to today will help you change your life. Okay? Now, this is the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Love it. Runaway bestseller. Okay, and if you don't have one yet, get a copy because this is going to help you. All right. So, honey, tell us about what a habit is.
A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. And the ultimate purpose of a habit is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible.
Right.
So for any habit, it can be broken down into 4 steps that feed off of each other, and it's called the habit loop.
The habit loop. All right, let's show what that habit loop is. Okay, here I am. Habit loop. Okay, so James Clear talks about this in the book, Habit Loop. And the 4 steps are cue, craving, response, reward. Okay.
Take that back.
You're going to take that back?
You've got a great example.
Yeah, so again, the 4 steps are cue, craving, response, reward. You want to say that again? Cue, craving, response, reward. Now, this is really important, and James talks about this. So here's a great example, and I particularly like it because I like donuts. So here's the donut example. So let's say you're walking to work, and as you're walking to work, you smell donuts. Oh my gosh. And not only do you smell donuts, you see the light in the window. It says hot, fresh donuts. And so the cue is the trigger, okay? So the cue in this example is you smell the donuts and you see the light, okay? The cue is great. Now, the cue creates a craving. It triggers that craving. So now the craving is, oh my gosh, I have to have a donut. And you know, if you love donuts, how powerful that craving is, right? Gotta have a donut. Now the response is you immediately in that door and you're buying and eating a donut. Like you just can't wait. So cue, smell, craving, you got to have a donut. Response, you go in and buy and eat one. And the reward is, oh my gosh, that tastes so good, right? I don't know what your favorite. My favorite is like a double chocolate. So chocolate donut, it tastes so good, and you get a sugar high. So the reward is that you satisfy the craving because it tastes so good. Plus you get a bonus sugar high. But what's really interesting is now you start associating walking to work with eating a donut.
And
so
it becomes your habit.
That's the habit loop, right? Yeah. And so what we want to do is find a way to build that habit loop into your patterns and your financial life. Okay? Because you already have financial habits. The challenge for so many of us is that our financial habits suck, right? They're just not good. So we're going to be talking today about how you can change some of those habits and incorporate some good ones. Now, transforming these 4 steps, the cue, craving, response, reward, we got to transform them into a practical framework to create good money habits. So that's the next step. So how do we take that cue, craving, response, reward, and then build a framework to create good financial habits? So how do we do good financial habits? Well, in James's book, he talks about the 4 laws of behavior change. And that's right here. So what's the 4 laws, honey?
Right. The cue would be, how do I make it obvious? And the craving would be, how do I make it attractive?
Okay.
The response would be, how do I make it easy? And the reward would be, how do I make it satisfying?
Great.
Right? Yeah.
So the 4 laws of behavior change. So we want to now talk about how do you apply that, right? So the first law deals with the cue, the trigger. How do you make it obvious? And obviously, the more obvious, the better, right? And you can't miss the smell of fresh hot donuts when you're walking by a donut store. That is an overwhelming cue. So what other things can you do to make the cue obvious? let's look at some examples. One is that you can design your environment to make the cues of good habits obvious and visible. Your environment plays a really big role in your habits. And so if you can change something about your environment, if it's your workspace, if it's a work-related thing, or if, when you're paying your bills or when you're dealing with financial issues, the more you can change your environment to reinforce the good habits you want, the more successful you're going to become. We want to make the first law as obvious as possible.
Right.
Right? And what other way can we do that?
Well, I was thinking of a habit that I began to form.
Okay.
So when I began to run, what I would pick is the implementation intentions. I still do. I got up at 6 o'clock and have some study, have some quiet time, and go out for a run. So what's important with this one is the time and location. I picked, and the location is just get out your front door and do loops around the neighborhood. I knew how far it was and just go. So time was 6, location was out the front door.
Okay. So that is from the book. It's called Implementation Intention. And that's where you pick the specific activity or habit you're going to do, the time and the place you're going to do it.
Right.
So that's a great way to make it obvious. Okay. The next law is craving, and you want to make the craving as attractive as possible. So how can we do that? Well, one way is to become part of a group or a tribe or a culture where your desired behavior is the normal. Like they're already doing it all the time. So now you feel like you belong. You're not some weirdo out, of doing something freakishly different from everybody else. And so there's join a culture, like subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to be talking about ways you can change your money habits, ways that you can become financially independent, and ways you can save and make money. So these are things that are going to be reinforced for you. And I love another example of this is the FIRE movement.
Oh, yeah.
Which stands for Financial Independent Retire Early. That's a whole subculture.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole culture about maximizing your savings rate. And there is a great documentary on that specifically that I'm going to encourage you to watch. And I don't know if I've got the name of it here. I forget. I'll put it in the description below.
Playing with Fire.
Playing with Fire. Okay, there you go. Thank you. It's on Amazon, so you can go and buy that or rent it and then watch that movie.
So good.
It's a whole subculture about drastically reducing your living expenses and dramatically increasing your savings rate so that you can become financially independent really fast at a young age. But that's a whole part about the culture thing, and that's a big way that you can make it more attractive, is if you feel already like you belong and you fit in. What's another one that you liked?
Well, the one that I picked, once again, I was picking a habit that I wanted to start. I know for many, many years I did not make our bed, and I wanted to be able to do that. And this one is use temptation bundling to pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Well, I kind of did that opposite. I needed to do it because it looks pretty. Therefore, I wanted to do it.
Okay.
So that's how I did, and actually, it works. I was tired of not doing it, so I wanted it to look pretty. I needed it to look pretty. Therefore, I did it.
Okay.
That's how I formed that habit.
So the second law, like we said, the craving part, make the craving as attractive as possible. And there's a few different ways that you can do that, and James covers that in the book. So now the third law, which goes to the response, is make the response easy. Seriously, if the response is too difficult or impossible, then you're never going to do it, right? And so this is not going to work. So you've got to make the response easy. Now, there's several different ways that he suggests that you can do that. And the one that I liked the most was to automate the process, right? If you can set it up one time and then it's automated and it keeps happening for you, that's super easy. So I like that one to make it easy. What did you like?
This is the one where repetitiveness is helpful, right? So just once again, it was about running every day, but I'll be honest, there were some days that I only went 30 minutes. And sometimes it was only 15, not very often, but you know what? I was happy that I got up and got out and did that.
So you didn't do the whole time, but you did some of it.
Right.
Okay.
But it's repeating.
The repetition.
Yep.
Something, and it's easy for you to run, to just get outside and run.
Right.
Because you don't have to travel somewhere far or
Right.
whatever. It's easy for you. Okay. But that's the key to the response is it's got to be easy. All right. Then the fourth law, which deals with the reward, is make it satisfying. You've got to enjoy it. It's got to be satisfying, or you're not going to keep doing it. Right? If the reward really doesn't move you, then that's going to be a fail. So you got to find a way to make it satisfying. Is there anything in there that stood out to you on the make it satisfying part?
What what worked for me was doing nothing enjoyable. I kind of associated that with a habit that I quit. So when doing nothing was enjoyable, well, true story. 3 years ago, I quit smoking. I know.
A runner, marathon runner.
Seriously. And there were times that in my head I had a list. It's better for you. You smell good. You're doing what God's asking you to do. It is costing you way less money. I had a rundown of things. I don't have them with me, but I actually put them on a piece of paper, and I would read them to myself and say, "Good job." Yeah, smoke free.
Good job. I know. That's awesome, honey. So in making it satisfying, I like the point about using reinforcement to as quickly as possible. Provide an immediate. Yeah, it says immediate. So as quick as possible / immediate. Give yourself some kind of a reward that will complete the habit. So I don't know what that looks like, for you, but find a way to give yourself a reward for completing the habit. Okay. All right.
That is good.
Those are 4 laws of behavior change. So now how do we take this and apply it to your financial life? Okay. That's the big key. So how are we going to create a good financial habit? So here's the suggestion. All right. The financial habit is saving money. And the stats are terrible. Like most people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
And when I say most, that's because it says 64% is the recent research. 64% are living paycheck to paycheck. And it's around the same percentage of people don't have $400 in cash anywhere to handle an emergency. So clearly, our culture, our society needs to do better at saving money. So let's make saving money the habit that we want to incur.
Okay.
Or occur.
Okay.
So the cue,
Right.
we want the cue to be obvious, right?
Okay.
So what's obvious about saving money? How about payday?
Yeah.
When money is deposited into your account, when you get paid every Friday, every time there's money deposited in your account, whatever that is, let that be your cue to save money, right? The craving, we need to make it attractive. So what's going to be attractive? How about reducing financial stress? That's like one of the top stressors for people. There's 70+% of people say financial stress is high. It's their number one stress in life. So maybe making it attractive is, instead of saying less stress, we could say financial peace of mind, right? Or financial freedom. Maybe that'll make it more attractive for you, but find out what that is. But I'm going to say financial peace of mind, okay? Is the attractive part.
Okay.
Especially if you're stressed all the time. Peace is unbelievably, amazingly good, right?
Okay.
So the third thing, the response, is make it easy. So how do we make saving money easy? Well, goes back to my point about automating. You could automate that process so that every time there's money deposited into your checking account, a percentage of that goes into your savings account.
Okay.
You can automate that process, right? So find a way to make it super easy so that you don't have to think about it and remove or eliminate all the friction, all the obstacles that could prevent you from doing it. Make it easy. Automate the process of moving money into a separate account. And it has to be a separate account, otherwise it's too easy to spend it.
Yeah, good point.
Right?
Yeah.
And you want to have multiple accounts too for your different goals.
Yeah.
So we like to talk about, having a peace of mind account, which a lot of people talk about as your emergency fund, maybe 3 or 6 months of your bills, or maybe 12 months, depending on your situation. But if you want to have a vacation, that's a separate fund. If you want to save for buying a car, that's a separate fund. You can have multiple accounts for different purposes, but make it easy and automate that transfer of money
in a separate account. I really
in
like
a separate
that.
account. Yep. And then the fourth law, dealing with the reward, make it satisfying. So how can you make saving money satisfying? Well, I am very much satisfied and love seeing my balance growing. It's immediate, right? So once that money is there, look at it. Like, go and look at the account balance, pull it up on the statement, take a picture on your phone, share it with your partner, say, look, babe, how much money we got in our peace of mind account now.
Nice.
Something like that, right? So we got to make it obvious. It's on payday or whenever there's money deposited in your account.
Right.
The make it attractive is the financial peace of mind that you're going to have, that you crave because you're tired of all the stress.
Right.
Or make it easy. The response is automated. We're going to electronically move those funds, and you decide on the percentage. Stop listening to all this garbage about, save 10% of your income. Well, who said 10% is going to do what you need to do? Heck, there's people in this FIRE movement that are saving 50 and 60% of their income.
True.
So you got to decide what's the right percentage for you. And then make it satisfying. Look at that balance. See the progress you're making. Decide, on small little goals, like when you get your first $1,000 saved, you get a little reward. When you get the first $2,500 or $5,000, like make it fun and satisfying so that you can reward yourself as you go. Right?
That's good.
So that's our tips and tricks and suggestions on creating a good financial habit. And the more good habits you can incorporate, say start stacking on top of each other, the faster you're going to be able to achieve your financial goals and live your best life. Do you want to give them any other suggestions for some habits they might want to consider? Or
yeah, I have we talked about read at least once a year a
financial
book.
Educational book.
Yeah.
Expand your knowledge, right? So that could be another great goal of reading at least one or more, maybe say it that way, one or more financial books.
I like the tracks you're saving. And I know that's very, but bring some depth to that. Tracking is so important.
Right. Well, that's the number one tool for transformation in your life is tracking. And everybody talks about budgets and tracking your spending. Well, I want you to be thinking first about tracking your savings. Because you want to pay yourself first. You want to save your money first before you spend. Because if you save it first, it's over here out of the way, and then you can live on what you got left over. So track your savings. It's your savings rate that matters. Yeah.
So that I love that as a new financial habit to start.
Okay.
Start that side hustle that you've always wanted to do. Start it. Just start.
Yes.
I think that's a great one.
You're not going to be ready.
Yeah. Don't put it off.
Right? You're just not going to be ready. Like we weren't ready to start our YouTube channel, but we just had to do it. We kept putting it off, and it's like, oh my gosh, we just had to start. So same thing with your side hustle. We both encourage everybody to start a side hustle. Have your own business, because the tax advantages, there's so many benefits. And if you only have income from one job, one is way too close to zero, right? So get some control over your cash flow and your income by having a secondary source, having a side business. I want to encourage you with that too. That's a great one, honey.
I have just a couple more. Give to give. Just giving, but specific. If you have a favorite charity, do that once a month. Give a meal.
That's a great habit.
Yeah. There's always somebody.
Practice giving.
Right? Whether it's for a celebration or an illness or whatever. And I know, I love this one, pack a lunch. We all know that saving on going out is, you don't save.
You want to save some money fast? Stop eating out for all your meals.
So I love pack a lunch.
Yeah.
Get those brown bags out.
For real.
Yeah.
Okay, gang. Well,
so good.
I hope this is helpful. Like we said, encourage you to get the book and read it. But we got to, we are doing this ourselves too, because we want more good financial habits. I want to encourage you to get some more financial habits in place. It'll change your life. Live your best life with healthy, good financial habits. Like
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe to the channel.
There you go.
Please share this and grow along with us as we change our financial life and help you change yours. We do this once a week. We're coming out with a new video every week. So when you subscribe, be sure to hit the bell, the icon, so you're notified when the new videos come out. And then we're being consistent with some shorts. I'm trying to do one short a day. We're not quite there yet, but we're almost. But leave us a comment if you got an idea about a video you'd like us, or a topic you'd like us to cover, what you think about the book. Leave us a comment, though. We'd love to engage with you in the comment section. And check out the description box. There's some links in there for some free resources for you to look at. Are you on track for retirement or not? If you want some one-on-one coaching, we can provide that for you as well. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. You can change your life, and we're here to help. All right? So until next week, we'll see you.